Hey there, Internet, how's it going? It's a little hot in here, but yeah. Welcome to another episode of the John Graves Show, and I am your host. Today, I'm talking a little bit about Capcom and what they kind of said about Resident Evil. Apparently, Resident Evil creators at Capcom feel that the gamers who like Resident Evil are now getting into their late 30s, late 40s, and will soon kind of lose interest in gaming altogether. And because of this, they're trying to appeal to the younger gamers by putting advertisements for the next Resident Evil game in fashion magazines and trying to find other ways to advertise it and so on and so forth. Now, mind you, this is kind of true and also false, because some older people, they do kind of like grow out of gaming, and this is a fact because it doesn't matter where man you're from. Some people just kind of grow out of things. And in terms of the age thing, some of their fans are also in their late 20s, early 20s, give or take, when people played Resident Evil 4, which did come out in 2004. So yeah, you know, Resident Evil does still kind of have a fan base. In terms of them honestly trying to keep the Resident Evil games interesting, now that's kind of a problem, because Resident Evil, I really gotta say this now, because if I don't, I get the feeling that like you are going to be one of those people, as one of my fans are. I'm speaking to my fans. You probably might see Resident Evil as like, yeah, man, 6 and 5 are just terrible games, and they're going to keep making them. The fact of the matter is that the reason why Resident Evil, or at least like from 1 to 4, and Code Veronica, which is the actual 3, why those aren't as popular, or at least like or as widely accepted as 5 and 6 are. Reason being is because they kind of forgot the reason why people liked it, Resident Evil. And it's not because it is a survival horror game. It's not a survival horror game. It's a survival puzzle game, which has enemies in it, which that you have the ability to attack. Solely because in the original Resident Evils, you could actually run through the game without killing any enemy, minus bosses. So, and this goes for the remake, for Resident Evil 2, all of the tank control Resident Evils. You could actually play through those games without killing an enemy, minus bosses, and then just complete it. I mean, that's kind of the thing, and it's mostly like you do this because of puzzles and because of items that most likely that they have scattered around this enclosed area, so that you can progress further in said area and leave. And also there's the whole other thing of like them actually building up the lore in these files, in which that you can read throughout the game, which that for like Resident Evil 5, yeah they had the files there, but really it wasn't mandatory to read them, because it kind of didn't tell you anything new as to like what they were doing in terms of it's like what they were doing, what's new happening, how this new virus affects people. It kind of really doesn't tell us anything about that. And the only enemies you fought, which were the Ouroboros monsters, were easily killed once you hit them with fire. So it's like it's kind of a weak little boss there. Also, in terms of Resident Evil 5, it kind of didn't have the whole like enclosed area feel, which kind of has been missing from a few Resident Evil games. Now, mind you that when all these games start, they always start off well. It's kind of where they go. From there. And it's kind of a problem when people say, yeah, Resident Evil is like a terrible game. It's not in terms of the earlier ones, which only fans will play because of its controls, and 4, which a lot of the old fans dislike because it has a more gamer feel instead of being way more realistic, and you having to get all of your ammo from every other area. However, in terms of what they're doing with Resident Evil now, I really hope that when they create Resident Evil 7, they don't necessarily like mess it up by doing the exact same thing which they did for Resident Evil 5. Now, I'm about to say this right now. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica are in their own league. Resident Evil 4 stands by itself. Now, I know a lot of people say that 5 and 6 are based off of 4. Technically, they're not, because if they follow anything from 4, 4 kind of is the perfect homage of the originals. 5 and 6, however, are kind of really fucking terrible because they kind of don't follow the same old rules that were kind of set up in the original games. And because of that, it kind of comes off feeling way more arcadey and way more third-person shooter, even going as far as them finally now giving their enemies guns and having them mutate. I mean, in a sense, we're just playing Mind Jack with fucking like Resident Evil characters in it. So yeah, that's my video up on the Resident Evil thing. What do you guys think about it? Please tell me down in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time up on the next John Graves show. And hey, you know what to do. Have a great one.